This is the second meeting that we've heard from residents complaining about these emails going around without a name assigned to the bottom of them. One in particular being the Washington Crossing Post, or also known as the Washington Crossing Gazette. My question is to Mary Ryan. Are you the author of this post, of this email publication?
I would say that I am part author. I do believe that I took ownership at the last, or maybe the second to last post, where it said my name, these are my comments. So yes, I took ownership of what I wrote.
And you stand behind the statements that you've been putting them around? You stand behind those statements, including in the past election, the statements that you made about myself?
I'm not going to discuss that at this point in time.
I think you should, because there's enough, this is 2 meetings now that residents have come forward and they are tired of this false publication, which has false copyrights. Yes, at the bottom, read the copyrights. I have copies of your emails that have gone around, and I think in the future, at least for the very least, that the public should know, they should now have a face behind who's published these things, especially when you are so adamantly opposed to having Mr. Breeden send out his Breeden blast.
Tom.
You had 3 months to stop this.
Actually,
It ends tonight. It ends tonight.
You're inappropriate.
No, it is inappropriate for 3 months of this action to have gone on. It needs to end tonight.
So Mike, you ought to talk to Mr. Breeden.
Excuse me,
He
Michael.
signs his name.
I have,
Okay.
I have been,
Let's stop. Let's
Tom,
stop.
you had 3 months to stop this.
Let-
You let this go for 3 months.
Let's
Tonight
stop.
it ends.
No.
Let's end it tonight.
Mike, I tried to stop this before the very first meeting of this board.
You allowed these emails to come from Mary Ryan
I have not
to the
allowed,
community.
I have not allowed it.
Then you should have addressed it to her when they came out.
Look, I can't.
If she signs her name with a letter and says in the beginning that I have nothing to do with it, and now all of a sudden, now you know the editor to submit the letter to,
Look, let me say this.
this is very dubious behavior, and I personally have been sick of it for a while, but I think the past 2 meetings, enough residents have come forward to where this needs to stop.
So look, so let me say this about this entire issue to everyone. We all need to move past this. We all need to figure out how to talk, how to work together, how to solve problems together. The more time we spend talking about issues of personal conflict, the less time we're spending on getting issues done for the betterment of our community. Can we all please move forward and work together?
Did I ask you in January, could we all sit down to where we could bury the hatchet, we all could work together? Did I not ask you that in January?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Did anybody have, since January, that's 3 months, have we sat down yet and ironed out our differences to where we could work together? I mean, it's convenient for you to make a statement to the public right now that that's why doesn't that happen, but when it's behind the scenes, there's nothing to have, there's nothing accomplished.
Mike, that's not true, and we all need to move past this. I personally really would rather not have this discussion like this.
I bet you wouldn't.
What's your question, Mike?
My question is, why won't this board work together? Why constantly?
That's a very good question.
I asked for, in our emailed conversations back and forth, since January, can we sit down? Do you remember the email I got from you, Mary, that you sent back, saying I look very uninformed and I look like a fool to the community, et cetera, and I sent that to the rest of the board saying this is the type of stuff I'm talking about? Do you remember all that? Mary, do you remember that? I asked to sit down. We can have an executive session. We can have whatever you guys want to have to where we all can meet. We can iron out everything that's happened in the past. We have not had one of those meetings. No one has agreed to it. Everyone says, oh, yeah, great idea. No meetings, no talks, no discussion. And then in the public, now it's, oh, we need to work together.
We do, Mike.
Well, then let's work together.
We do need to work
You
together.
need to iron it out behind the scenes. Stop the post writings.
I will happily stop my
so-
emails when Mr. Breeden stops his emails that he puts out bi-monthly for the last 3 years.
Which is a
it's-
recap of the meeting.
Okay, look, we need to stop this conversation. We're getting nowhere. We're
At
getting
least the
nothing done.
community knows who's publishing the post, Mary
Okay.
Ryan.
Point
No.
made. Let's move on.
No.
No? Well,
No.
then you also signed your name to the letter too, Dan.
There are approximately 12 residents that are authors of the post. The post has been established because we happen to have a member of the board that has spent the last 3 years yelling fire in a theater. That is why that is occurring, because it's time for the residents to really hear the truth of what's going on. With regards to the Amelia Bonner, whatever it is, emails, no idea who did them, don't like the emails, turned off by the emails, but the fact-fiction emails, they're going to continue as long as Mr. Breeden continues to yell fire in a theater.
So where Mr. Breeden goes and recaps what happened at a previous meeting.
Recap is nothing
Recap-
wrong as long as it contains facts and not fiction, or does not yell fire in a theater, which
Okay,
is
so
what
in
he
the
has
previous
been doing.
publication,
Could
in the
I say
previous
something here,
publication
since my
where-
name has been brought in?
In the previous publication, it stated that it wasn't a former supervisor that came up and spoke 3 meetings ago, ambushed everybody, or ambushed myself and Mr. Breeden
No, what you
up
had
here.
was
And
exactly
he was-
what you had tonight, where you had residents that came up and spoke on your behalf and Mr. Breeden's
I
behalf.
never, ever
Michael,
have
you-
someone come to
it's
speak
too
for me,
obvious.
ever.
It's
Too obvious.
Michael.
I swear on my country,
So,
I have never
At
asked
this
anybody to
point,
speak for this.
at this point, I would agree to disagree, and I think it would be appropriate as an elected official that we move forward.
So you're going to continue to allow these Amelia Bloomers?
You gotta
come
act
out?
like an elected official if you're gonna sit up here.
Absolutely, you do as well.
Tom, I need,
So you're going to
I
have the
need to
Amelia
say
Bloomers
something
come
in
out
my defense.
continuously.
As I said, I'm unaware of those emails.
You
I
just said
don't
they're going to
author-
continue.
Okay.
So if
No,
you're
okay.
unaware, how are they going to continue?
I'm not gonna argue with you if you can't hear me.
Come
I
on,
can hear you fine.
come
No, you
on,
can't.
folks, we need to stop this.
You said
Larry,
we're gonna continue.
would you like to make a comment in response?
I would like to make a comment on Dan's comment of my yelling
Stop playing.
I have to.
fire in a crowded theater. And the only thing I can say about that is it's not yelling fire in a crowded theater when you see an arsonist
So does Larry.